Ask Raven. The wise one listens and answers with song, from cedar shadows where old truths belong.
No one slept upstairs, the shadow knew why. Ask Raven. I watched a house beside the sea, where wind would speak through beam and tree. It stood where ocean met the land, raised up by many working hands. Each board was set with care and strain. Each nail was struck through toil and pain. The hands that built they left behind, their weight in wood, their mark in time. It rose on pilings from the ground, with open porch that faced the sound, dressed with waves and shifting air, a place that felt both strong and aware. When storms would come and press it hard, it bent, it groaned, it held its guard. No easy thing would bring it low. That house endured what few could know. Behind it stretched long shadowed sheds, with narrow paths where footsteps led. Through cedar dark and winter cold, they carried wood as they were told. Inside the house was wide and deep, with rooms for gathering, rooms for sleep. 2 kitchens warmed the living space, where voices filled that wooden place. For joy it opened loud and bright, for grief it held a different night. When someone passed beyond that breath, the house received them after death. They brought the remains through the door and laid them still upon the floor. In that front room they stayed with care, never once left alone in there. That room was never fully still. It watched them rest as best they could, on feathered beds across the wood, not out of comfort, not from peace, but shared with savior, fear decreased. Even there the air would shift, a quiet change, a subtle drift. Footsteps came when none would tread, a sense of something just ahead. One stood still and chose to hear, and knew that something lingered near. Another saw that knowing glance, and spoke of it without pretense. When it comes close, do not engage, do not invite, do not enrage. Just make it known that you were there, a simple act and it may spare. Below things moved, but did not stay. Above something waited. Upper floors were not the same. Long halls that carried borrowed frame. Doors from elsewhere set in line, each one holding borrowed time. When someone passed, their room remained, their things untouched, their space unchanged. The door was closed but never sealed, a quiet truth the house concealed, not locked away, just left alone, as if the past still claimed its own. And in those halls a stillness grew, a listening quiet few men knew. Even in daylight clear and plain, those rooms held something that remained, not seen in form, not heard in sound, but felt in ways that held you bound. The first who spoke did not pretend, nor shape their words to twist or bend. They gave you a story meant to scare. They told the truth of what was there. Do not sleep there. Simple words. No warning dressed, no fear inferred. They spoke it plain, as those who knew, as those who had been taken through. One night, while both lay still, awake, the room itself began to break. No step was heard, no door was pressed, just darkness moving through that space. Not cast by light, not shaped by flame, not bound to any earthly frame. It did not drift, it did not fall. It spread itself across the walls, across the air, across the room. It gathered form without a shape, and then it came without a pace, until it covered all that space. They could not move, they could not speak. No voice, no breath, no strength, no reach. The dark held fast without a sound, a silence deeper than the ground. And when it left, they did not stay. They left that place before first day, and never once returned to rest. in any room above the rest. Years would pass, as years will do. Others came who never knew. They heard the words, but doubt had grown. They thought the truth was overblown. They went upstairs to prove it wrong, to claim the fear did not belong. Two stayed there, awake, aware, and found the truth was waiting there. No door would move, no sound would warn. It simply was the same dark spread, the same deep weight of silent dread. It filled the room, consumed the light, and swallowed corners out of sight. And then it came without a trace, and covered them in that same space. They could not move, they could not speak. The same dark hold, the same full reach. And when it broke, they fled below, and like the rest they came to know that what was said before was true, and not a tale that people grew. That is how truth will make its mark, not once, not twice, but same and stark. Different lives, yet same design, returning proof through separate time, and still it stayed above. It did not follow where they lay, nor cross into the lower way. It held its place where silence grew, a different thing from what they knew. That house was filled in more than one, not just with those beneath the sun. But what was there above these rooms was not the same as what moved below. I watched that place hold what remained, where time was kept and nothing changed, where memory gathered slow and deep, in rooms where silence learned to keep. Something forms in places so, where nothing leaves and none will go, where time stands still and breath has meaning, and gathers layer upon layer within. I will not name it, only say it did not fade with light of day, for in that house the dark did not belong to night. If you have marked a place that did not feel your own, leave your words below. Raven listens. If you wish to hear more of what moves unseen, follow the call. Return again.
What you forget, Raven remembers. Through fire and embers, Raven remembers. Nevermore, nevermore, nevermore.